Was noticed according to Wisconsin open meeting laws.
Okay, is everybody signed in? I know Supervisor Olson will not be here, and Supervisor McCready will be. She's just running a little bit late. Okay. Okay, so we've got, 27 present and one coming, and one absent. Okay, our invocation will be by Pastor Roger Preuss with Long Lake Lutheran.
You gotta wave at Patty. The Apostle Paul, in his writings, mentions hope over 40 times. This past Sunday, we read that he said that we hope for what we do not see. Now, I don't know if you'll remember, but I may have mentioned it the last time I was here, that my father-in-law was a county freeholder in New Jersey, the same as a supervisor. And when I asked him what they do, he says, you don't often see it. I think maybe you'd agree with that. What the County Board of Supervisors is not often seen, much like hope. But it's always about what's yet to come. It's always about the future. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for this day, for this season. We see the corn growing. We see the beans filling out. We can almost hear the growth. And we know that it's all about what's going to happen yet still to come. As we know, those farmers will harvest it, and that crop will go to market, and that market will feed people and give them hope. We pray tonight for this organization, for this gathering, for these fine leaders of this county, that they may understand, even though what they do may not be seen, much like hope, it is there and it is real. We pray blessings on this time, on this meeting, and all those who gathered. May it be to your glory. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Jeff, we got one special matter.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. John Mitchell is asked to have a few minutes to talk about the Ojibwa Village at the Pioneer Village Museum.
Okay. Is it?
Okay. Yeah, Jeff told me I had a 2-minute pitch, which reminded me of my days in California trying to pitch stories. So the Ojibwe Village is a project we've been working on for about a year at the museum. It's the Welcome Center, I'm sure you're all aware of, and that Mark Doberful and I have been working on that for some time. But the Ojibwe Village is to sort of have a cultural place and a new expansion to the exhibits at the museum that's also included with we have 3 different groups of tribes that are working, the members are working with Lekudere, Red Cliff, and the St. Croix. And so I'm trying to just get around the county and tell everybody about what's going on. August 21, we have a grand opening celebration for the Ojibwe Village. Now, we're calling it that because the tribes up here over the, long before everyone else was here, were Ojibwe bands. Different bands. So if we say Lekudere or St. Croix or Red Cliff, they're all still a part of the Ojibwe or Anishinaabe history. So that Friday night, we're going to do a grand opening from 5 to 7, and this is more like an informative to let everyone know what's going on. I have talked to several people around the state that Jesse James, I know, said he'll be there, and a few others that we're talking to. But also the whole point is to celebrate, do a blessing. Rick St. Germain from the Lekudere tribe is going to come down. He's a spiritual leader up there, and do our blessing for the whole thing. We'll do a short dance exhibit, and then ribbon cutting, if you will, and then a small feast afterwards. And then Saturday, the next day, we're doing our annual, the museum's been doing an annual powwow every year for the past 3 years. And that's starting to expand quite extensively. We're getting a lot of positive feedback from some sponsors. We've been getting help with that, some grants. And also, I think the community is going to really respond to this because there is no other Ojibwe village of this type or a Native American heritage. If you go to the museum, when you see it, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I had no idea. Because we took the forested area that's on the right side of the museum, that's always been part of it, and we opened those gates and turned it into, so it's also nature trails. There will be language signs in both Ojibwe and English as an educational tool. I spent all the weekend shoveling dirt to make a little outdoor mini theater or classroom, if you will, like a 10-seat classroom. And well, of course, the 4 wigwams. You can see it in the poster you have. You can see what the wigwams will look like. There'll be 4 of them for seasonal: spring, summer, fall, winter, and they'll each be in their own little exhibit. And long term, we'd hope maybe to use those as like people could do outings out there where they're not allowed their phone or their electricity or anything. Pay a fee to donate to the project and help build it over time. This has been, we've been having some meetings with tribal councils as well to see about their involvement. So anyhow, I wanted to present it all to you, and I'm sure I'm going to come back to you and say, here's where we're at, and can you help us out in the future? So anybody have any questions about what's going on?
John, just as you mentioned, that flyer is in the board packet for people that are online or out in the audience. And if anybody else wants to hand that out to anybody, it's a very nice flyer, so thank you.
And if anybody
Have any
wants
questions?
Oh. If anybody wants to get a hold of me afterwards, Jeff has all my information. I'd be more than happy to welcome opinions and, of course, contributions and any kind of help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5, approve the, okay. Oh,
I did not see Ben. Is he here? He's here. There he is. I would like him to introduce himself to the county board. I'm going to be recommending Ben Cole appointment to the Land Services Director. So Ben, if you'd come down and say hi.
it's okay.
Good evening, everybody. A few familiar faces out here. For those who don't know me, I'm Ben Cole, local guy here from Barron, graduated class of 95. Gosh, it seems like a long time ago. Moved away for a short time, served in the Army, came back to Barron. Most recently, I was the superintendent for the city of Barron. Learned a lot about budgets and employee reviews, all the fun stuff associated with a director position. Married, my lovely wife Stacy is an oncology nurse. I've got a daughter who's 19, currently or going to be a sophomore at UW-Madison. My son is 16. He's going to be a junior in high school this year. I look forward to working with all of you. I want you all to know that I myself am open to ideas to improve our county, to address some of the issues that we're currently facing. I know there's a lot of concern about data centers. I've been looking into that. Improving access to rural properties for housing purposes, looking into that. I want you all to know that I'm very open-minded to all of that while protecting the outstanding land use ordinance that we've developed over the years and keeping our county ag focused. Yeah, I look forward to working with y'all, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Welcome aboard. Item number 5, approve the agenda. Motion by Supervisor Cook, seconded by Supervisor Turcott. Any concerns with the agenda as printed? Seeing none, let's vote. Jamie, you okay with the agenda? All right. Okay, it's 27 yes and 2 absent. Actually, it's 28 though now with Jamie, right? Oh. Okay. All right, so the agenda is approved. Item number 6, approve the minutes of both June 15th, 2026 and June 23rd, 2026. Motion by Supervisor Heller, second by Supervisor Gooselich. Does anybody have any concerns with either sets of minutes? Seeing none, let's vote. Jamie's yes. That passed 28 yes and 1 absent. Thank you. Public comment. Do we have any? Okay. Item number 8, approval of the letter of support for Mosaic Technologies application for the Wisconsin Public Service Commission for broadband expansion grant. I know I'm a member of the motion by Supervisor Nelson, second by Supervisor Patty Anderson. I am a member of the West Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and we did approve Mosaic. And I guess in my opinion, they've done a lot for our area. The map is pretty suspect because the state does it, and I'm not sure they know what they're doing. But anyway, Mosaic has to work with that. But Supervisor Cook, you have a question?
Yes, I think just for the new members on the board, I don't know if Chris wants to do this, Laura, you want to do it, but just to give us a little bit of background on the number of grants that we have, the process. This grant is, and I talked to Chris before, this is for 69 homes in that 103 miles, and we don't have a map. But I would like a little bit of background for the others so we can have a discussion about, we've done two $25 million sign on so they could get two $25 million grants. Did that money stay here? How many underserved did it reach? And I don't know if Chris can answer that stuff, but just for a background, I think for the members that are brand new.
I got a feeling Chris can answer that.
Ooh, I don't know. I'll give it a shot. First of all, I'm going to say something no one's ever said when they came to a county board meeting is I miss you guys. This is fun. I appreciate the opportunity. Ben's a good guy, so vote for him. Them two guys in the back. No, I'm just kidding. They're good. No, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. What this is in front of you is a partnership. The Wisconsin Public Service Commission has opened up another round of grants, $60 million statewide. We don't know how much we're applying for yet based on how many locations we're picking out. We're picking out 2,196 approximately right now today, which is about 1,113 miles of fiber. That's in 8 counties, though. That's in 8 counties. We're in Burnett County, Barron County, Dunn, Russ, Chippewa, Clark, Washburn, and Sawyer County. Again, that doesn't matter to you. You care about Barron County. That is 69 homes, 103 miles of fiber. That is in the townships of Maple Plain, Crystal Lake, Lakeland, and Stanfold. Those are where those 69 locations are located. Again, as Louis said, the state picked the locations. How did they pick those locations? It was houses that didn't have fiber in all of the counties, didn't have fiber or their internet service was 25.3, which is a poor quality. A minimum we have to do as a telecom is 100 to 100.
You want to explain that 25.3?
That's your speed up and speed down, how fast your internet works, is how that works. And so the state said if your internet's 25 to 3 or you don't have fiber, your addresses, they picked how many addresses in the state. I have no idea how many they picked. That'll be based on the money. So right now, we're applying for the grant. We get letters of partnership for this grant. And we've gotten, if we count Barron and Washburn's tomorrow, which they've given me the verbal, we went to their executive. I'm only 1 county short, and I was in Burnett County today working on it with them. It's 26 townships, 15 of those I have approval. I have approval from Crystal Lake, Maple Plain, Lakeland, and Stanfold. In Barron County, we're in the city of Stanley, and I've got our economic support both in Barron County and all 8 counties we're applying for. So this is a big deal for us. We're a community organization. We've applied for a lot of grants, as Randy said, in not just in Barron County, but in Mosaic's territory. We had $43.9 million in funding, which equaled $79.5 million in total project costs. Again, that might be Washburn, Burnett. We're going to go all the way down to Clark County now. We're expanding. We're your local company. We're 130 employees strong today. 5 years ago, we were at 30. We just opened up our new showroom. Both Louis and Jeff and a few others attended. I thank you for attending. That means a lot to Mosaic. Just in the bead, it's $39 million in that, which will equivalent to $53 million in total contract. In this grant, we have to put in 25, whatever we get, we have to match it 25%. We're not asking for any money from any county or any city or any township. We're going to fund that ourselves, the match portion of this grant. So we didn't ask for a dollar from any township, any county, anybody. So it's not a lot in Barron County, but the letter that Jeff prepared meets all the qualifications of the grant. He put the state statute in there. He had the PFC grant paperwork that we have to fill out in there. It's pretty basic, but they took the letters of support out. Why they did that, we don't know. We have our suspicions to take out some companies that are maybe more global than local and give more local a chance. I think that's what they did. No one will tell us why they did that out, took the letters of support out and made partnership letters. So we had letters of support from all the counties. We had to change all that to these partnership letters, and that's what's in front of you today.
So Chris, twice previously, you were applying for two $25 million grants, and I didn't think we could use the word partnership in those BEAD grants. But you just mentioned, 40-some million. The 225 ones were for Barron County. You mentioned less than 50 million total. So did you not get those $25 million grants?
It's entirely possible we didn't get all the BEAD funding we wanted.
Okay.
That's entirely possible. I don't know the answer to that question. Obviously, I've only been there a year and a month. And so I don't know the answer to that question. So I can't answer that without.
And just so you know, our Corp Counsel and Jeff fully vetted the partnership language, because that's the first question I had, and it's appropriate for us to do this. And it's also this letter, if we do approve it, it doesn't preclude us from approving another one for another telco.
That's correct.
Mosaic couldn't be a better corporate citizen in this county. As most of you know, they've helped with their training rooms, with the tornadoes. When we need their facility or need their backing or help, they're always there.
We've given to the museum. We're a big partner in the Cameron School. We've given to just about everything. We're your local telecom. I love the word local, and that's what I use. So
Supervisor Bob Anderson.
Hey, Chris. So at the last partnership that we did, if we're calling it that, we had asked if we could have some feedback as far as how many hookups there were in Barron County from that one. That we didn't receive. Is there some reason why we can't find out how many hookups there would be?
Nope,
Is this money being used? Obviously, it's being used in Barron County, but can we have some sort of follow-up to know how many service hookups we're actually doing in Barron County?
Yep. I can figure out the answer to both Randy's question and your question, and I'll send that to Jeff, and he can send that out.
I mean, I live in an area where you only have Spectrum or CenturyLink or Brightspeed, whatever they're calling it now, sells about every other week.
And some of those grants aren't done. Obviously, BEAD is a 4-year project, a 4.5-year project, and BEAD just got approved in Wisconsin 2 months ago. So we just started our BEAD work, which is our permitting and our environmentals. So BEAD is still a few years out. So that is, a lot of you remember the BEAD project. That went a lot of places. That hasn't started at all. So yet, because Wisconsin just approved it, and we're working in a few other states, and some of that BEAD money hasn't been approved in those states yet today.
Supervisor Guslick.
So are we going to change the agenda to say it's a letter of partnership? Not support?
Well,
Either way.
the letter is in there, and it does speak to partnership.
If it is, I mean, it speaks about a community, private or community partnership, and it speaks to, and it's granting the support. So I don't know that the language on the agenda.
It's also the motion.
Well, it's a letter of support, but it's in the form of a partnership, saying that it is a partnership and they're supporting. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference what the semantics on it
Two
is. But
pieces of paper.
Right. So what changed from partnership to support? We was support because we couldn't have partnership. What did change?
Jeff, you want to take that? You were the one that was working on it.
It's like Chris said, we could do letters of support. They removed that. They, being the Public Service Commission, removed, and it has to be a partnership. And that's why I quoted state statute. I gave you the state statute and the sub-statute and the FAQ. So that's what it has to be. Otherwise, they don't get their points. We don't have to give them any money, and we can support somebody else.
Right. And in Chippewa County, they did. They supported 2 of us in Chippewa County. So there's no one else on your agenda, which is happy for me because that means no one else is applying for it or doesn't want the extra points. And we'll keep you updated, as I've told all the counties and townships I've been to in the last 2 weeks, and I have 3 more days to do this. They only gave us about a month to do this too. And so I appreciate Jeff and Louie's work on this and all our townships. We didn't even get to some townships because their meetings didn't match up. So, but we succeeded in a lot of our townships and all of our counties, we hope. All but one so far.
Supervisor efforts.
Yeah, could you repeat the townships in Barron County that are
It's
going to be affected by
Lakeland.
this?
Yes, I have that on my other sheet. Where'd my Maple Plain, Crystal Lake, Lakeland, and Stanfold.
And was it Crystal Lake that you didn't get to their meeting? Is that the one that
Nope,
hasn't?
I have all 4 in Barron County, all 4 letters from all 4 townships. That is correct.
Thank you.
Supervisor Mullen.
Yes, I have a question. How long, what is the time period between the time you get the grant, well, when they do the work and when it's actually, they receive the funding? Because they expend a lot of expense doing this grant. Are they compensated in what order?
What we have to, how the bead works now, and I don't know how this one will work, but we have 3 years to complete this once we're approved. So we have 3 years to do the work, 4 years for the bead project. This is going to supplement our bead work, is what the state kind of looked at. They looked at where telecoms and some utility companies do with this, as I'm learning across the state. And they looked at where everybody's bead is, and they said, well, there's a group of homes here, and there's a group of homes here. And if you want to connect the 2, you can. There's a lot of middle mile in here. But we have 3 years to complete it. And how bead works is once the work is completed, then we get the funding back.
So it takes 3 years, if it takes 3 years.
If we
to
take
complete
3
the
years,
work.
we don't get the funding for 3. I think they get it in percentages, like once we get the engineering part done, you get some money back, but
Yeah,
don't
because
quote me on that work.
It's a
'cause I'm-
sizable expense that Mosaic has in
Right.
it before they're reimbursed.
There's a lot of expense upfront to some of that.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Patty Anderson.
I just have a question for you. Tracy Moffel sent me an email,
You
and I
should
didn't
have,
know how to answer her.
I
so-
answered her and
Oh, good.
CC'd you on it, so.
Oh, good. I didn't see
She's
that.
part of she's part of the bead.
Okay.
So a lot of these people are excited and we're waiting to Randy's point is, what did we spend in Barron County? We haven't spent much because bead just started.
Okay, good.
So-
Because I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yep, you have a response in your email.
Thank you.
Supervisor efforts.
Could you explain to me the terminology BEAD?
BEAD is broadband equity. No, I got it here. Broadband equity access and deployment. I should have known that. I'm going to get in trouble tomorrow. That's the former grant. This is a different grant. That was federal government, ran through the state. This is strictly state money. So the federal government got to decide. All the letters of support during the BEAD project got thrown out the window and didn't count. So every letter we got or any telecom got thrown out the window when they changed the rules last July.
Any further questions? Now we got a motion and a second
hey.
for,
I've had this on since the very beginning.
okay. Okay.
Mind if I talk?
You bet, Supervisor Langman, you certainly can.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm kind of, I'm shocked that we still have people that live in this county that doesn't have fiber to the home. Now, when you're talking about the 103 miles, is 69 homes of underserved.
Unserved.
Unserved.
Unserved. This one is not underserved. This is
Okay.
unserved.
How many people in your district, your company, is underserved?
I don't know the answer to that question.
You have to know the answer if you're going to apply for the grant.
Well, I'm saying I don't know
You
the
know,
answer.
okay,
My
well,
company sure.
Well, first of all, one is way too many.
Right.
This, for the people of Barron County, we've had high-speed internet fiber to the home since 1995. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. And now we're talking about all these great things. Get fiber to the home. Barron County citizens deserve it. They've waited too long. Now, BEAD probably won't be funded for 4 years. This grant money is going to dry up. The Universal Service Fund is possibly going to be disbanded. If you don't get this money, we're going to wait another 30 years for these people to get service?
We're working on it. Yeah.
Boy, the dance started a long time ago, my friend.
Yeah, I agree. But every dollar helps. And that's what this is for. Every dollar helps. And that's what we're doing. And we're connecting more people, even though it only says 69 homes and there's 103 miles, to your point, there's a lot of middle mile people that can get connected to this that maybe don't have it or have a different option or don't have the speed that they require. It's a lot
Supervisor
more
McCready.
difficult than digging in the ground. I thought it was really simple. It's not that simple. Internet's not that simple. I'm learning.
Supervisor McCready.
What does middle mile?
That's
Percent.
we have to, let's say we get 2 grant spots, your house and your house, and I live in the middle. And if I go by, I can choose to then have Mosaic. Maybe I have a different company. I can choose Mosaic or I can not choose Mosaic. You don't have to choose us with this grant. The 69 homes don't have to choose us. But so middle mile is, we pay for that though. We pay for some of that.
Okay. And then I guess a follow-up question, if that's all right.
Yep.
So the village of Turtle Lake, we have high-speed internet. It was the most amazing thing that ever occurred.
Yes, it is.
How did some of those things come about, or don't you maybe know?
I
given
don't know.
history?
Jeff probably does because he understands it. I mean, all these grants and some of the different things, and sometimes we, it's a lot of it's grant driven. The start of it is grant driven, and then it expands from there. So a lot of these are grant driven projects. No different than when I was a sheriff. We get a grant to do something, and it pays for part of our boat or whatever it is. So it's similar to, we can't do everything, and the money, the state says there's $60 million, please apply. We're applying. We're the only company in front of you applying for this money, so we want it to stay here somewhere. As it got brought up at West Central Regional Planning, at least it's staying in Northwest Wisconsin.
Supervisor Heller.
I understand when you're talking about it. It seems like everyone feels it's rural. It's out in the country. That's not necessarily true. I live in the city of Rice Lake, and mine's copper to the home. I don't have fiber.
Either do I.
So as you look at these things and we're looking at approval, it's only going to help expedite all the rest of those pieces and parts. And it's not just rural that you're trying to get to. It's long-range plan to get the rest of it in, and it's in the plans, I understand, because I've asked. And
Me too.
It's not just rural.
Yeah,
So
and we're changing over our copper to fiber. That's another cost that we're incurring. Yeah, it's not cheap either.
Yeah.
Fiber in the ground, I don't know what it is.
That's why you
but it's
need the grant.
Yeah, well, that helps.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, we got a motion and a second to support Mosaic's grant application as a community public-private partnership. Any other questions? If not, let's vote. $27 yes, 1 no, and 1 absent.
The voting no was Supervisor Langman.
thank you very much.
Thank you. You want to sign it right now?
You can just sign it now. He needs to take 1 copy,
Oh.
and Jess needs to.
Chris,
Chris, hang
don't leave. I'm going to give you a letter.
I'm gonna give you the letter right now.
That's Jess.
And then have Jess test.
That's right, we don't mess around.
Okay, item number 9, presentation from Discover Media Works on Uniquely Wisconsin. Josh Osterman would like to address the board.
Okay, no, I'm good. Good evening. Thanks, everybody, for the opportunity to present to the board. It's an honor to be able to come up. Uniquely Wisconsin, if you've been to the WCA events and typically in the annual meetings in September or Ledge Days in February, typically you're inundated with this Uniquely Wisconsin piece. That's a big initiative for the Wisconsin Counties Association. It all started right after COVID when everybody was trying to get their feet back under them, and the WCA and Mr. O'Connell and one of the county executives from a county in the southern Wisconsin had come up with an idea about counties working together to bring share what's beautiful about Wisconsin, both the natural beauty, the people, the culture, the businesses, and what makes us really unique. And so that started in 2021 as we started to develop what this could look like. It's really grown. What we wanted to do, and they tapped Discover Media Works from our role of Discover Wisconsin, which is what most people know us for. We've always been focused on tourism, and Uniquely Wisconsin is it's a video series, and it's a campaign that is driven not just on tourism like a Discover Wisconsin, but it really hones in on an economic development, a quality of life, and really a sense of place. And what that means, I mean, it's a lot of words, but we want to show people that live within Wisconsin and very specific municipalities and counties that there does not need to be an outflow even of this county. It doesn't have to be an outflow of the state to go find work and to really appreciate where you live. And so we try to share the stories which are beautifully told and motivate people on economic development, where it could be an entrepreneur finding an empty storefront and creating a business, or a multi-generational business that decided to stay put in that location and not move out of state or even move out of the county which it's located in. And just to tell the stories that are beautiful to the state of Wisconsin and why we love Wisconsin. And so what Uniquely Wisconsin has been is, our first year we started with 8 different counties, which was too big of a task for us to take on. So then we trimmed it back down to 5 counties. So each season, and we are now entering season 5 this fall, each season then has 5 different counties, and what's included with that, which you'll see on this document here, which I had emailed over this morning to the county administrator. And so what this is not in your county board packet, but if you guys want to share this with everybody, this just gives a little bit of the detail of what Uniquely Wisconsin is and what you receive. So we come in, we spend a couple of days each story. We do 3 different stories that we release then on our social media channels and our streaming platforms, so YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. There's a broadcast component which will then air on the Discover Wisconsin regional television network. And then there's a podcast, a blog, many social posts, and an opportunity for data acquisition for people that are interested in locating or tourism entities, whatnot, different events for whatever takes place in that county. So there's a distribution model, there's a production model, and the goal behind this is to have multiple entities within the county, so different municipalities, the county itself, economic development, and tourism entities, chambers, whatnot, to work together to try to come up with what these stories can be. And what the goal is for each county. And each county has a different goal. This county, we might be looking at Barron as a tourism play, and letting people know that live here that this is a special place to live, and it's a beautiful place to live and to take advantage of it. And it's a reminder to those that want a second home or want to come up and visit, that this is a great place to come and spend their money for the shared revenue aspect. So for Uniquely Wisconsin, what's important for us is bringing together all those entities and then working in collaboration with the Counties Association and rolling out an overall package that can bring Barron County to regionally statewide, but then also in the entire Midwest. I think if we flip that next slide. These are just some slides for the broadcast map. That'll be the Cabin Podcast. I don't want to rifle through these, but I want to give enough time for questions. So the Cabin Podcast, if you haven't listened to it, it's the audio version of basically Discover Wisconsin, where we get in and we talk about all the great things in Wisconsin. When we say a Cabin Podcast episode for Barron County, it would be us sitting down with representatives from might be Rice Lake Tourism, it might be somebody within Barron County Tourism, could be economic development, and they're telling us all the wonderful things about Barron County, and then we share that with our audio audience as well. So as this program has started to develop, we didn't know what it was going to be in season 1, and it changed along the way. And now that we're into season 5, we're really seeing it pay off. I think we've done 3 Emmy presentations at the Wisconsin County Association annual conference, and what that means is that those stories resonate, and they're awarded for their style and the way that the story is told, but it also brings extra eyeballs on it because it's award winning, and then it gets shared out at a much larger audience. But it's a great program. We're excited about the reach it has, which is closing in on 10 million digital views. And what that means is if somebody's watching YouTube or watching it on Facebook, these are all eyeballs coming from all over in Wisconsin. But on YouTube alone, Chicago is our #1 audience. Minneapolis is our #3 audience, which is important for this area. And then we have Detroit and even Indianapolis. So if you start to think about who's watching different things that says uniquely Wisconsin or Discover Wisconsin, it's not just somebody from Wausau or Milwaukee or Madison or Green Bay. It's people all over the Midwest, which is awesome to share because you guys have a very beautiful area that you call home, and we want to be able to share that with everybody. So I'll leave this as this is a joint funded project. This is not something that the county is having to pay the full boat on. I believe it was in the county board, but Rice Lake Tourism has stepped up and shared some of the funding as well. The way that we go about this, a county can fund it. It could be chamber funded or shared funding model, and it could be all tourism based, but it's all going to say Barron County. It's not going to say Rice Lake Tourism. It won't say Barron County Economic Development. It's all about Barron County. That's the goal, is to just talk about the county globally and to celebrate it as one, even though there's many different areas within the county and then, all the different municipalities. We want Barron County to be the one that people walk away with. The process that goes through it, once it's approved, and for this, we're looking at season 6, which is 2027. So once the funding is approved and we start to form the committee of people that can give us 8 to 10 different stories, that then we work with that team to trim it down to 3 different stories. Then those stories then go out and we do the pre-production logistics, and we go out and we film. It could be in the winter, it could be next summer. Hopefully we've had to change what some of the filming looks like with the smoke, so fingers crossed next year we won't have that problem, so then we can just come out and capture blue skies and beautiful water and trees. But then we will release the videos starting in the fall, and it'll go all the way through the winter into right around when the WCA comes in February for Ledge Days. But then the broadcast model will come in the fall, and then the marketing that's included on this page will happen after the videos go out. So the blog and the different social media pieces and posts in the Cabin Podcast. So as we look at this season 6 in 2027, it will air in 2027. We'll start to film at maybe even the earliest in December if it moves that quick. And then the marketing will go into even 2028. So it's not just a quick turn. What's really neat about it is there's B-roll attached to this. So the filming that we capture, we get establishing shots, and we can provide to the county, we can provide to the chambers and the tourism offices and the municipalities, where it would be great to have your tourism page have this beautiful B-roll footage of all these different events or whatever we're there to film in natural beauty. And for each of the areas and the partners to be able to use that footage, that's essentially included in this process, is savings of sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. So that's you can take Marathon County for that. They asked for that in season 1 and it stayed. So Lance did a good job there. But any questions on this?
Before we do that, in keeping with Robert's Rules of Order, before we have questions and discussions. No, the motion is going to be, I'm going to do number 10 right now. So the motion that we have is that for number 10 is a resolution authorizing expenditure of $20,000 for a Uniquely Wisconsin Discover Media Works production. The total, as is outlined in the resolution. It'll be a total of $60,000, but the county will be donating or contributing $20,000. That will take a 2/3 vote. And is that Supervisor Heller and Supervisor Cook? Is that a motion and a second to approve that resolution? Okay. Question by Supervisor Efforts. Oh, okay. It's gone now, all right. Any other questions by anybody? Okay, Supervisor Vaughn.
So I was looking at the packet on page 18. I'm trying to get back there quick. And it says, for a modest annual investment, Barron County will gain. So we're giving 20,000 now. Is that going to be an ongoing thing?
No, $20,000 is it. 20, we're contributing 20 toward the 60.
Okay.
There are plans to do an expansion of this if this goes well, but it won't be county money. Rice Lake Tourism has been a good partner in this, and they're looking at doing some more things as well, right, Supervisor Heller? Yeah. Supervisor Mullen.
Yes, I was wondering how much you are featuring agriculture. For instance, we have the top ice cream in the, I guess it's the whole nation. The cheese curds, these other things. I haven't heard much mention of them so far.
The egg, it depends on the county and what stories they want to tell. I would say one that we did in Portage County, we did Feltz Farm, and that was a bridge between agritourism. So we had the tourism portion of it, and then we had multi-generational because it's like a 5th-generation farm in the Stevens Point Plover area. Beautifully told. It was the father and mother who are working, 7 days a week, and they've turned it over to their kids, and their kids are now expanding it to this, like where you typically see it in the fall. We filmed it in City of Barron at their at a agritourism place where you can go in the fall, and it's a great place to go to get pumpkins and all this stuff. But this is a 12-month-a-year piece for Feltz Farm, and then we just last year did one for in Pierce County. And I'll say this, one thing when we started with Uniquely Wisconsin, it was essentially to drive eyeballs to, these different counties in the state. What we've really seen as being impactful really happened. I noticed it last year when we filmed in Pierce County. They had one video that was in Prescott where they had an entrepreneur that took dilapidated buildings and rebuilt them into boutique hotels, which is great because that's at the top of the Great River Road. So that's a perfect tourism play, but it also showed, that somebody who wants to can start their own business and make an impact for a region. We did one where it was Vino in the Valley, where the guy bought vacant land and turned it into a winery. And it's right on the Great River Road, but it's just down a little bit from Prescott. And then the third one, because we have to balance it out between the county, so it's not just one location, they had selected the Ellsworth Creamery. And by telling that creamery story, it wasn't just we make great cheese curds that are all over the world. It was the co-op and how it started. It was the history of Ellsworth cheese. And then it was the Century Farms that surround it and still produce the milk that's collected that day to go in and start to make their cheese curds. So it was a whole process. And then it was the city of Ellsworth celebrating Cheese Curd Fest and how impactful and meaningful it is to their community. And that story, unfortunately, we have probably out of the 70-some stories, I would say less than 5 are egg tourism, which you think about things that are uniquely Wisconsin, egg and specifically dairy is one that would jump to the top of the list. But it was great. But then we also had a preview for all 3 videos at at the Ellsworth Creamery, and it was in December, and it was one when we had about 8 to 10 inches of snow in a matter of like 2 hours, and I was driving over there thinking there's going to be nobody here to see this thing, and then I walk in and I park, and place is packed. It was the business owners that were a part of the videos. It was other residents. It was the county board. It was their administrative coordinator. It was their economic development person. And after the red carpet and all that kind of stuff, and we get to go up and tell the stories of filming, afterwards they had a get together, and you see those different entities all talking about what else they can do, not let's do another Uniquely Wisconsin, which you can too, by the way, but it's like, what else can you do as partners in the county? And so then we're starting to see this where people are working together more on a local level because of
Spin-offs.
Yes, not just like video content, but it's how can we support each other? It's bringing counties together.
And Josh, all these Uniquely Wisconsin are on the Wisconsin Counties Association website.
Yeah, you can look at the Discover Wisconsin YouTube page too. That's probably the easiest way to find it.
I see Supervisor Gooselake and Supervisor Cook were on here for questions. Are they removed?
No, I have a
okay.
question.
All right.
So are we going to get a chance then to make recommendations to someone and give ideas? Not that they have to be chosen, but just ideas for the group that's going to pick?
I would certainly hope so. I know Dave Armstrong with Economic Development is a driver for this, but I would certainly, yes, all the minds, different minds we have, different ideas. They're all, and Brandy Hollub is on the assistant for our Barron County Economic Development, but she's also running the Rice Lake Tourism right now. So yes, I mean, the more ideas, the better.
So to answer that too, we've had, each county is different. Adams County ran some marketing to then collect information and recommendations from residents of the county. We've had different counties that have done county board submissions to see what would be the best. That gives us a good starting point. And then we've also had Outagamie County had a big push to collect all these different stories, and it worked very well because we've had our 3 stories out of those, and that came from residents and county board members, so it's kind of a hybrid of both. Realistically, when you think about what these stories are, you want to think of, because Discover Wisconsin, we usually have a host that guides somebody through and shares what an agenda would be like to spend a day in Rice Lake, or go over to Turtle Lake and stop in Chautauqua. That's typically what we talk about, but Uniquely Wisconsin's are very intimate stories that there is no host, and so it's typically the story of who this person is or who this group is. That's it's all about them and their purpose for the county. So as many recommendations as possible is the best, and then we weed them down from there.
Supervisor Cook, do you have a question?
Not a question, more of a comment. I sit on the strategic planning committee with several other board members and employees and community members. This kind of came out of there, but the point I want to make is this is comprehensive. You talked about the number of eyeballs that see this. Barron County is a great place to visit, but a better place to live. How does that work with our employers looking for people to come here and work? How does that work with having enough housing and having rules and regulations? Ben talked about what he's open to in terms of providing housing. So this is just part of, and this is why I'm supportive of it, this is just a small part of a much larger plan that gets worked on by the Strategic Planning Committee, Economic Development, and some other committees. So it's, as we start to see these pieces work, you'll see how this fits in here. But when you take a look at the number of eyeballs that look at this, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed at the demographics too. The number of women that look at Facebook and Instagram, because those are the ones that are saying, hey, you know what? Barron County is a great place to live.
Right.
They have the largest influence in a lot of things. So yeah, I'm for this.
All right. Supervisor Heller.
In saying the same thing with what Mr. Cook said, we've had an opportunity both with economic development and from Rice Lake Tourism and some other areas of seeing some of the quality of video and the stories that are presented and the awards that have been won, the quality that comes out is tremendous. And the things that you've done have been very well received and recognized nationally for some of the stories that are coming out. So when we're looking at the different opportunities we have within the county, yes, we need to see all the different things that could be one of the major stories, and then they have great vision in what's going to present Barron County in the best light. And they do the quality is exceptional. So I'm in support of it across the board from hearing it in multiple different places and what you've done and the awards you've won. It doesn't come by chance that those things come together.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Right. Jeff was just pointing out that we're doing the minimum, the $20,000. There are other counties that are put in, what, 6 figures?
Well,
Yeah, so, well.
it's
let's-
60, but
yeah.
then.
But when then you keep going further and further, once you see what like Supervisor Cook's mentioning, people grab onto that and they get enthusiastic about it. So right now, there is no plans for Barron County to put more money in. But that's up to you guys to decide, not me, so. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's vote. All right. Okay, Supervisor Vaughn is yes. So that's 27 yes, well, actually 28 yes. And then 1 absence. So thanks, everybody. Josh, thanks for the good presentation. Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, we're excited. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Okay, and we did do, get the 2/3 vote, by the way. Item number 11, resolution authorizing applying for a cost-sharing grant from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for the county-owned rifle ranges. Now, okay, what's the cost going to be to us?
We don't know. The maximum it could be is 150,000. We'd have to put in 50 and the state would put in 100. That's what Aaron told the property committee.
So
It's
yeah,
capped.
DNR will only go up to 150,000
Right.
on it, and we would be a third of that?
A third of that, right.
Okay.
And if this would happen, if we, correct me if I'm wrong, Dana, but didn't Aaron say that if we got the 150, about 100,000 would probably go into raising the berm on the, thank you, Supervisor, you would raise the berm on the east side. So this is a very important grant for that area.
And
Are
that
we
doesn't,
working out,
unless we
Jess?
are receive the grant,
Correct.
at that point, we don't have to do anything. We have to,
Correct.
just to apply for it.
Right, this is to apply. Awarding is a whole different deal.
There's a motion by Supervisor Jenkins, seconded by Supervisor Eby to pass this resolution. Is there any further questions? Seeing none, let's vote. Yeah, passed with 28 yes and 1 absent. Thank you. Item number 12, a zoning ordinance amendment rezoning the town of Turtle Lake, Taoyang, and Majoya Lai owners. Did I butcher that or not? All right, a motion by Supervisor Jenkins, seconded by Supervisor Gooseling. Is there any questions on this? Not, let's vote. That passed, 28 yes and 1 absent. Thank you. Item number 13, zoning ordinance amendment, rezoning, Town of Doyle, Cindy Gang owner. Motion by Supervisor Cook, seconded by Supervisor Jenkins. Any questions or concerns on this zoning ordinance amendment? Seeing none, let's vote. Okay, again, 28 yes, 1 absent. Thank you. Item number 14, report from our county administrator. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so I'm going to do these in reverse order. I'm going to do 14C. You have the Community Connections 2025 Impact Report. They're in your packet, and just compliment Sarah Turner. She got a recognition from the state in that. The 2026 Veterans Outreach Program is Saturday, August 15th at Northwoods Tech. Shelley and Casey are doing a great job on that. We're looking forward to that. Item number 14A, and Darren and Jason can talk more about this, but we're going to refer, I am going to refer the Law Enforcement Committee this consideration for one LTE for an open records request. There was some discussion at the executive committee about what kind of person would we get with a limited term. So Jason and Darren and I and Michelle and the sheriff, we've talked about some things. And so we're going to take this back to law enforcement for a recommendation because we are looking at some other revenue streams that could possibly pay for a full-time position, and it would be a long-term revenue stream that would go for many years into the future. And as I said in my position paper, we can pay for an FTE for 2027 and 2028 just from the invested funds that we have from the housing authority that's unused, with also the possibility that that might be under budget. There could maybe some money could come back from that overall project. So the point I'm making to the board is I want to slow it down, just take one more look at this, and then come back into August with something. So that's, if there's questions, Darren or Jason can sure answer detailed questions, but that's a broad blush of where we want to be a month from now.
And our sheriff's department is fully aware of this. They've been involved in the negotiations and discussion. And we realize that, we don't want, they need help, and we want to get it to them as fast as we can. But there are concerns with doing the LTE, and I think that what Jeff and the sheriff's department's ideas would maybe allow us to have a full-time person. And you want to mention any details?
And then perhaps have a supervisor in the dispatch that could backfill dispatch, could be trained doing open records for the sheriff, for other departments, backfill dispatch, fill in there in many different areas. So there's just one more blush to look at here to make a long-term decision that's good for the department and the county overall. So that's where we're at. We're not trying to balk in any way. We're just trying to take one more look, one more kick at the cat, so to speak.
Yeah,
Supervisor Cook.
I don't know exactly what the total plan is, but I like the idea of going away from the, FTE, look at something more permanent, something that's under the jurisdiction of the law enforcement.
Away from the LTE and going to an FTE.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I have. So then on my appointments, so the appointments are there for Shane Massey. He would be education rep from the Barron Area School District to the Traffic Safety Committee. That is a requirement of the state statute. For Land Services Director, highly recommending Ben. Excited. We wish Dave Gifford the best in retirement. And then Supervisor Cook was recommended from the LCC Extension to serve on the Wisconsin Land and Water Board of Directors. Oh, just one other thing. On this closing of the fish hatcheries, I have got no information from anyone. I've tried to get what's the effect and what that would have on Barron County. Pat, our Lakes guy, and I are working on this. As of this morning, we don't have any information. We're still trying to get information from the DNR or elected officials of the closing of the Brule hatchery. If you know what they did, if you watch the YouTube video, they just emptied the ponds. And so that would be stocking for Lake Superior, potentially stocking of our lakes here. Pat and I are talking about this. I'm sorry it wasn't on, so I hope it's okay, but we're working on it. This is going to have a big effect, not today or 5 years from now, but 15 years from now. If we're not stocking fish, it's going to have a huge effect on people coming up here to fish. So anyway, that's no charge for that one.
Thanks. Okay, can I get a motion to approve those 3 appointments? Motion by Supervisor Guzlik, second by Supervisor Heller. Is there any concerns or discussion on those appointments? Seeing none, let's vote. Diane's yes. Jim, how you doing? Give us a thumbs up, Jim. and Craig? All right, all right. Okay, that's 28 yes and 1 absent. And I'd like to have a motion that we get different software. I'm just kidding. Okay, 16, claims, petitions, and correspondence.
I have received no claims.
Good. Item number 17, suggestions for future agenda items are there. Does anybody have any other ones they'd like to?
Louis, it's been brought up a couple times. You brought it up last meeting. Jeff just brought it up in terms of the Barron County Economic or Housing Authority. I think when they get close to being done, maybe it'd be good to have a presentation, what was done, show us some videos or pictures, and, you know, give us back a couple $100,000 or whatever.
We should do that in October. They should
Yeah,
be
we're-
all done October 5th. Is
We're
the
having a
most recent one.
property committee visit the site, and then what you requested will be there.
Yeah, we'll do it either in October or
Maybe the
November.
monetary part.
Yeah, but if they're under,
I
the
know,
way
I
we
get it, I
wrote the
get it, yeah.
resolution, if they're under, it's our money. We get our money back.
I get it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, next meeting date. Is that August 17th, 5 o'clock? Okay. Anything else? By unanimous consent, we'll adjourn at 6:01. Thanks, everybody.
But anyway, I won't need this piece of paper anymore.